doing their very best every day in extremely trying circumstances. Because the fact is they are not responsible for the starvation of resources under which they have to operate on a daily basis, with no vans, with no equipment, sometimes without any ammunition even, without the training that they need, without the officer numbers that they need. And so we could bemoan that, and we could point to SAPS's national management failure, or we could do something about it, and we are doing something about it, by pouring resources into our own law enforcement and policing capacity, by slowly expanding the list of activities that our own policing service is able to engage in Cape Town to support the work of the SAPS in fighting crime. We're having tremendous success. There is really reason for optimism in the crime space. James is going to speak on this, but I will just mention one. 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4 weeks ago even, we had our updated crime statistics for the country, released by the National Police Minister. In the top 30 worst crime precincts in the country, crime went up in 20 of them and down in 10 of them. That points to the scale of the problem naturally. But of the 10 where crime went down, there is one that is in KZN, and the other 9 are all in Cape Town. And every one of those 9 is an area where we have deployed our so-called LEAP top-up forces to go and do visual policing and patrolling on the streets of Cape Town. And it is working. The results show that the model is working. Now, of course, that doesn't translate into a genuine sense of safety. It's all well and good to say that crime is down 30%, but unless you feel 30% safer, we haven't yet achieved our goal. So we've got a lot of other investments in technology, in aerial surveillance, in gunshot sensors, and so on that we are doing across the city to make this a truly safe place. We also know that we cannot possibly grow our city's economy and get more people out of poverty and into work, which is our ultimate goal. We cannot possibly do that under the conditions which we just saw earlier, where our economy has to operate daily with only 6 or 8 hours of power. That is simply incompatible with a growing, thriving, flourishing economy. And so we've known from the word go, from the moment we were elected last year, that if we are serious about preparing the city for the future, making this a sustainable place to live, and getting into first gear, then we have to deal with load shedding. We can't have a successful city and load shedding. So we've tried aggressively to start working on a load shedding plan that will get us to stage 4 or 5 protection. At the moment we are 1 or 2, depending on whether it's winter or summer. But to get us from 1 or 2 stages to 4 or 5 stages over the coming years. And I'm confident that we are on track to do that. And of course, if there's any opportunity to speed it up, we will always take that opportunity. But it isn't, unfortunately, a matter of flicking a switch. It is a process where we are making the investments necessary, buying the independent power, getting the storage capacity to make that possible over the medium term. We're trying to move more into the space of public transport, because at the moment we run quite a successful bus service, but it actually services a small sector of the market in Cape Town. And the fact is that there has been a 90% decline in use of our train services in South Africa, not just in Cape Town, in South Africa, because of the demolition job that has been done on the state-owned entity called Transnet over the last decade or decade and a half, mainly through a policy called cadre deployment, which I can speak on more later if anyone wants to know more about. But it is at the root cause of what has destroyed so many of our state-owned entities. And so we're trying to muscle in on the rail space as well, because again, it's not just about, it's It's not just about having a sense of control. It's not just about the so-called self-stand effect, although that's important. It's about what is absolutely essential and non-negotiable for any functioning city anywhere in the world. I challenge anyone to show us a city anywhere that can thrive and flourish without a functioning rail system. You cannot move millions of people around small spaces without a rail system. You can't do it without a functioning electricity grid. You can't do it without a growing economy. You can't do it without a basic sense of safety and personal security. I see, as I mentioned, an arrival of a phalanx of Metro Police and law enforcement officers in traffic, the long-suffering Wayne, I see at the back here again, whose wife no longer speaks to me because I take him out with me every night around the city of Cape Town to all of these public meetings. I want to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for what you do. Incredible work to keep us all safe in Cape Town. Thank you for being here again this evening. So you can't run a functioning city without these things. You just can't do it. And so we've literally written down on a piece of paper not bigger than my hand. And if I ask you to write down the things that are holding South Africa back, that are making you think twice about whether this is a good place to raise your kids, you would write down all exactly the same things without even me telling you about them. It's not rocket science. It's all top of mind for us as citizens. And we've said, what can we do to get our basics right and invest in our basics and our infrastructure so that we can keep pace with the growth of our city? And what can we do to muscle in on more of that space so that we can offer you the sense of surety and assurance that this is a good, sustainable, beneficial place to raise a family. You've seen that we've been quite obsessed with trying to clean up in the city. And we're going to carry on doing that relentlessly for the next 4 and a bit years. Because so much of a sense of progress in society is bound up in really small, simple things, like just having a cleaner environment, having a sense of respect and pride for your community. And so we've got to get a culture change in Cape Town, and I need every one of your residents' help. I suspect that if you've come to a public meeting, it's probably because you already are a responsible, active citizen, so I might be preaching in church. But we need everyone's help to change that culture over time to one in which it is unacceptable to throw litter on the floor in Cape Town, where it is unacceptable to pull your buggy up to a public open field which doesn't belong to you, which belongs to the community, and just dump your builder's rubble in a field. That is not socially acceptable anymore in our city. And so we really are trying to go around the city and raise awareness around cleaning up. It's also important for our beautiful open spaces that makes Cape Town really what it is. It makes it a desirable place to live that it is. Our nature reserves, our flags, our rivers, our oceans, our beaches, they can't be covered in filth all the time. Otherwise, we are killing the very thing that makes Cape Town such a great place to live.